Something that I have figured out when you live in London is that you can take little vacation trips over the weekend to pretty much any European country in the world, and that is exactly what I did. Me and my Canadian friend Josie went to Scotland. I don't know if I did a proper Canadian accent. I apologize, Josie. And this is the story of how we got stuck on an island. We decided to go to Edinburgh and tick off Scotland, the land of Scottish people. That's definitely not how they talk. Now, Josie and I are fairly similar but also fairly different people, but we both agreed on the fact that we wanted to go out and see some Scottish countryside. On the first day there, we decided we'd go and get a bus out to a little beach seaside village called Craymond. Craymond is known for its island, Craymond Island. How unique, right? And this island is a one-way in and a one-way out kind of deal. There is an elevated rock platform to get you in the island and get you off the island. And when we got there, we had already checked the tides, and the tides were not supposed to rise for another 3 hours. Fantastic! No water really at all. And we took the walk out to Craymond Island to get in some of that beautiful Scottish nature before we went back to the big smoke of London. It was so windy. I was in 3 jumpers in the middle of British summertime. And we got there, we took photos, we had some fun, and we walked up to the top of the island. And that is when we realized we had made a big mistake. See, the thing is with British summer is that you should never expect the weather to turn out the way you think it will. Rain, hail, shine, snow, freaking alien invasion. You have no idea what is coming out of that sky. That is kind of what happened here, except it didn't really rain, but water kind of just rose up out of nowhere. So we ran down. At this point, we knew there was absolutely no chance that we could get off the island, but we thought we'd give it a red hot go. We took off our shoes, we took off our socks, and we plunged into that icy cold Scottish water. Now, this water was rising incredibly quickly and the current was incredibly strong. We got a third of the way through, and by that point, the water had risen from knee to waist deep, and we saw that if we went any further, we would be taken out by those currents without a doubt. But also looking back at the island, because we had walked a fair way, we didn't even know if we could get back to the island either. And that is when the panic started to set in. I turned to Josie and said, we need to get onto 999. We both tried calling 999 and we were shuffling and freaking out. Thankfully, we made it back to the beach with no harm done. Josie managed to get onto 999 and they said that the Coast Guard would be out with us shortly. Half an hour passed and there was no Coast Guard. Now, the thing with me and Josie, like I said before, is that while we're very similar people, we also have a lot of differences. And this is when they really shone. Josie took advantage of the situation by Snapchatting it. She didn't care. She went and had fun with it. She was laughing and smiling, probably her way of dealing with nerves. But she did a little Snapchat story, which I will put right here. So Josie, being the bright, bubbly Canadian that she was not fazed at all. She saw this as a massive adventure. Alison, on the other hand, was an entirely different story.
My feet are in Josie's shirt because my shoes are soaked and the waterway is so flooded. Like, can you even tell that was a walkway? No, you can't. There was one. There's not anymore.
I was wearing jeans that day, and anyone who knows, if you get your jeans soaked, they will stay soaked, which I took off. That is right, I was walking around an island without pants and without shoes. I did not care. There was no one else there other than Josie, and by this point I thought, you know what, if we're stuck out here, I don't think she's really gonna care if Alison takes off her pants and walks around an island without her pants on. So with the little sun that was beaming through the clouds every half an hour, I desperately tried to dry my jeans, but that did not work.
Okay, so update. Coast Guard still hasn't shown up. The tide is getting so high. I've taken my pants off.
The Coast Guard finally rang and said they had been circling the island for a while, but because the wind was so incredibly strong, they couldn't get any closer to us in risk of beaching themselves. Beaching, is that right? Like a beached whale kind of thing? Like, woo! So in the end, one of them had to jump off the boat and literally swim to the island to come and get us. And he said, it's okay, it happens all the time, apparently. And that we had to walk back into the water to get into the boat. And we hopped into the boat and was taken back to shore. And I've never been so thankful to see a towel in my entire life. The embarrassing thing was there were all these locals standing on the shoreline who had clearly seen what happened from afar. And I just knew, as soon as I saw the look on their faces, that they could tell that we were just some freaking tourists. I know that the situation could have been so much worse than what it had been, but if you were to be stuck on an island with one person, who would it be? If you had to take one food to a deserted island, what would you take? If you could only take one book to a deserted island, what would you take? It's a bit of a sensitive topic right now because that is never going to be a hypothetical scenario for me again. I'm just going to put it in the box of Alison's embarrassing moments and put the biggest padlock I can put on it. I know this is a funny story and ha ha ha, this is the reason why you travel, is because you get life experiences and things that wouldn't happen in one country can happen in another and blah blah blah. I feel like when Nana Alison turns 80 and she sits her kids down or her grandkids and tells her about the time she got stuck on an island, they're not going to find me very wise or have any more respect for me than they did 5 minutes ago. They're just going to shake their heads like, what? So I hope you guys are having a wonderful day wherever you are. I love you all and I will see you in another video. Goodbye.